All right, folks, at 7 o'clock, if everybody would rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, and we'll get started tonight. The Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yeah, roll call. Here.
Lintz, Dreier,
Here.
Gualdoni,
Here.
Bales.
All right. Well, we do have a quorum by the skin of our teeth. I'm nervous here.
Sorry.
A minute or so ago, we do have one, so we can proceed on. Opening comments. Anybody have any opening comments? Okay, move down to approval of the agenda for tonight's meeting and the meeting minutes of April 13th. Do we have any additions, corrections, deletions, or otherwise? Yes, ma'am.
And two additions, one the budget amendment for Township Board Education and Travel, and the second is for replacing the AED units.
Okay.
I'll make the motion to approve those additions. And the minutes is presented.
Motion's been made and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. Approval of payment of bills. We have the bills in your packet in the amount of $262,538.51. What is the board's pleasure?
I'll make the motion to approve as presented.
I'll second. Motion been made and supported. Is there any further discussion? Have a roll call vote.
Bales.
Yes.
Boskee.
Yes.
Fountain, yes. Dreier.
Yes.
Gualdoni.
Yes. The motion is carried. Correspondence. Anybody have any correspondence? Brings us down to our reports. Well, first, Ms. Bale might want to add something to this. Last week I was at the MTA conference. Busy week with meetings and classes. I think the classes were better this year than what they were last year. The ones that I attended, same one, and it wasn't a bad class. It was just, you have to recognize there are first-time officials there, and then there are people like me who've been around for 42 years. And it was a little basic. But other than that, good classes, good attendance, well run. Came back with not only needing information from the ones that I attended, but gathered some for the ones that I was not able to. Anything you want to add to that?
I do. Actually, I thought the class, especially Monday, was amazing. And to me, anybody that is a township official, especially somebody that's on the Planning Commission and ZBA, should take that land use class that Catherine Kaufman, couldn't remember her name, so I wanted to pull it off, did an amazing job on that class. I know that she's doing one in Frankenmuth, so if that's something that the board can do, I think it's well worth the information, and she has a wealth of knowledge. She's actually an attorney and then also a planner.
One of three in Michigan.
Pardon?
One of three in Michigan. All three of them were at the conference teaching classes.
Yeah. So the two gentlemen that were with her, not as good as her by any means. I actually asked her if we could hire her for our attorney, but she said maybe. Because she's just, I mean, she was just that knowledgeable. I just was very impressed. The other classes, I think the only thing that I would suggest, and even being a first-time goer to this, is that it would be nice if they would maybe, and you kind of hit on that a little bit, have that this is a beginner class, or this is you know, like for somebody that's been going, you know, or in for a while, that's, you know, has already, like level 1, level 2, level 3 would be probably the only thing that I would suggest to make it a little bit nicer. I mean, they had a lot of classes to choose from, so very good. The vendor show was really well attended, so.
I was busy enough where I made it through half of one time. I was never through the rest of it, so
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to. I would just say, Bill, if you haven't done it, the paper one, do the online, for your input for that. They do read those and take those to heart. Anything else? SLRF, our famous purple funds. I knew that something was toward the end of, I started getting emails here in April. As you recall, the requirements were they had to be fully spent or accounted for contract signed by the end of last year, which we had expended all of ours, so we filled out our last quarterly report, our semi-annual report. So the April one here is for people who had contracts, their projects were not done. I have checked the website, our website, received nothing from the federal government. You just send something that goes into the abyss, and you're like, okay, so you're screenshotting, make sure you got that. It has not given me any opportunity to close out our project. So go back a year, I did the inquiry, asked the question of, okay, is there something, are you going to, do I need to do something to close this out? We've expended all of ours, no response. Today, or this week, I've gotten 5 emails. One of them is acknowledging that I had sent this request a year ago, but informing me that all the help desk, all the question things and that, and those websites are no longer active. So I'm not going to give an answer to that. But then it also, I got another one in red highlight, that those that were invited to close out their project, they do so. So I have to go back on the federal website and see if they sent me, they don't send me an email to my supervisor thing, it's all done on this SLRF website that is a pain to log on to. It's a multifaceted identity authentication process that is a pain. But I will go tomorrow and read through the notices, and if that's the case, and we can close it out, it doesn't need to be closed out until December of this year. But this email indicates for those that are done, we've already expanded in that. If we've sent you an invitation, that you can go ahead and proceed with the closeout process. So hopefully, at our next meeting, I'll be able to report and have copies of we are done with. We met everything we're done with. So fingers crossed. Next, contract. You're all aware of our different super ops and maintenance contracts, including the one for Potter's Lake. I've reported at meetings leading up to here, and we're hoping for different vendors in that, particularly the ones that are already working for us in one shape or another. I'll just say that easy operations is not going to do it. In preparation for that, we did a review of, and we have some financial issues with them, discrepancies and so forth, and so it kind of leads me to not put them at the top of the list. Waldorf, on the flip side, is no step back because it was past the next generation. They're kind of coming back. They have submitted a contract proposal, a draft, and it's just a draft, and there are things on there that this board would never approve. Just, it wouldn't. And it's not like any other contract, including previous ones we've had with them. For example, what we have with Easy Operations, where they buy a pump, the billing comes through them, they add 20% markup, and then we pay more for it. With Waldorf previously, if we bought pumps, whether it was lift station pumps or the individual grinder pumps, the bill came directly from the pump manufacturer. We paid that, and there was no markup. Saved the township a whole lot of money. We saved 20% markup, and if you're buying $15,000 for the pumps. That's one of the things that we would need out. So that being said, we don't have a contract. However, they were the backup originally, and they're continuing to do that. For example, they were called up to bodies like today for de-ragging of the Elba Road lift station. So we're still in operations. We're tentatively set to meet Waldorf and myself next Tuesday morning. And as soon as we have a contract that I think that the board would be interested in, I'll send that out to everybody prior to the meeting minutes, so you have plenty of time to peruse over and everything. But it's pretty standard. This is not like a Lake Neptune. You remember the ops and maintenance contract for holes are $600 a month versus the $10,000 plus for the Lake Neptune. So, questions on that?
So you're saying with the easy operations that it's not going as good as you thought that it would? Because I know we've always had a really good working relationship with them.
We have had an excellent working relationship with them in their previous role that we had with Tetra Tech and then on to Waldorf, and that was as our DEQ compliance officials. So when we have a leak, paperwork has to be sent to the DEQ, knowing that, the gallons, the compliance things. When we have a application for our NDPES permit, it is Beth and her company that provide all that documentation, all that information to apply for that, and that has went just fabulously. And that's all we had ever used them for previously. Well, unbeknownst to me, their company had grown as well, and they actually do ops and maintenance for sewer systems as well. So when Waldorf was stepping back, they said, hey, we'd like to submit a bill, a contract proposal as well. We went with that, and you know, there's a learning curve, and I went with the learning curve, but then there's other things that, well, we're far enough into the contract that the learning curve is over, as far as I'm concerned. But we're still having some different issues. For example, we had a actual line break, DTE Energy bored through one of our lines, and so we had 3 consecutive days of line leaks on our road related to that project. Okay. Waldorf responded. I had all the communication from their folks. We have to document, photograph, do all those sort of things. Kept me in the loop. This, polls covered, we're back online, we're 8:45, we're out here, all the different things. I never received a single email, phone call, or otherwise from Easy Operations, and they're the primary contractor for them. Not one. Now, I knew what was going on, but, no communication from our main contractor. We had another incident where...
Did you ask them why?
We haven't had a meeting. I've scheduled meetings. We have not been able to have a meeting that's convenient with them or otherwise. Yes, I have. That's why I say preparing for my meeting with them, going through these different things, it is more and more issues that I've had. Another example would be, and that's why it's a smooth transition for like Waldorf, because we have our third-party phone carrier, so it's not the township, it's not going to either Easy or whatever. I called you 3 hours ago or again. It's all a third party, and for anybody who might be on Lake Neptune or the Potter's Lake sewer system, when you call in, it records that verbatim. So the text, if I get the text out, when we have issues, it may be the person speaking on the phone, but it may be the angry spouse in the background using all kinds of 4-letter words that is also recorded. It's an actual document, verbatim, just like a court stenographer, so just in case anybody wants to know. But in that particular case, it's the hierarchy. So Easy Operations, they're primary, they're secondary, third, on down the list before it ever gets to Waldorf. And when it gets to Waldorf, then that means nobody from Easy Operations has answered this call. That happened, and Waldorf was actually out on site doing the repair when an Easy Operations vehicle pulled up. What are you doing here? He said, we responded. What would you respond for? Because nobody from your company ever answered the call. It made it all the way through your entire thing down to Chat Little, who's actually the third one down on Waldorf. That's not anything that's making our residents happy. So I'm not really keen on expanding their contracts in the township. And I will, when we have our meeting, I'm going to express all this. I mean, I've got my file of, what about this, what about that? And then there's, whether it's leaving the hall unlocked, or keys dangling in the door, or whatever the case may be. Those are all smaller petty things, but they all add up. So there's a bathroom downstairs that is for their use, and I'm the one that goes down, make sure that toilet paper is there, everything else. I went down there and pardon my language here, but somebody had just popped a loogie on the mirror. That's not adult behavior. That's not something that I need to deal with from a company that we're paying money for. Kind of off on a broad tangent. But back to the other thing. As soon as we have a contract that I believe keeps in with our other ones and this board will be happy with, I will get it to all the board members prior to even the agendas going out, so you have plenty of time to review it prior to the meeting. In the meantime, though, we are covered. Nothing's changing. Well, the last thing I was going to discuss ADs, but it's in general. So, yeah, that's not a problem. So we can discuss that at that. Any questions with anything else today? Treasurer's report. I see on the table here you have what she normally prints off. She informed me that she would not be here today. Clerk's report.
While you were gone, you had a new hard drive on your computer.
Yes. Thank you. I'm back to, the modern times. I was slower than dial-up.
Matt brought it up that it could be a warranty issue. Turns out it was a very small hard drive in that computer, and the person that installed the new one said that that never should have been in there. And we are working with the owner of the company to price reduction,
Credit, something along the lines. It should have never been in my
install something. So worked on that. We are scheduling election inspector training, and right now we have, I think, a full complement of inspectors for the elections. Truth and taxation public hearing and the budget public hearing will be May 26th. And got news today that the scrap tire grants are not yet awarded, but there was $1.6 million applied for $1 million per grant. So we'll see.
Questions?
Do we have a date yet? Just a tentative date? Or, because we usually do a scrap type.
You can't do it before you're awarded the money.
Yeah.
So you can't even do a tentative date? Okay.
Well, some people go the 1st of May, and that's not.
But, right, because I know, that's what I was thinking, knowing it's the first of May. I mean, that's not. Okay.
We've done follow-ups as well.
Planning Commission.
We have a meeting with Fiberlink on the moment in the bar. We kicked it back to AEW due to the fact that they changed their parking lot material from stone to asphalt, and we don't know what the runoff's going to be, and that needs to be addressed before we start putting the building up.
Questions? Fire Chief.
All our trucks have been serviced and had their annual DOT inspection. Everything good, except we do have to replace the rear brakes on one of the tankers at 2009, so I guess we got our neck with all those. And we got to replace the rear brakes on 22, which was a 2006. Other than that, the trucks are in good shape.
Since, I don't know if you have anything you want.
Just that I am working hopefully on doing an infrastructure grant. We can do a couple of them so that that's my goal. It is a 3-year grant, and when I get everything written up, I'll kind of give us some more updated information. It's for everybody statewide, so it's $65 million, which sounds like a lot of money, but when you divide that between 83 communities, it's small.
EMS, she's gonna hold off and do a report at the next meeting. There will be another meeting for EMS, so it'll be the current information. Brings us down to our agenda items. The first item is the Berwin Road culvert that they've already done. They didn't keep the road closed like they did with Stewart Road, waiting for us to have a meeting. So this has already been repaired. It's a paved road, it is bigger. I will tell you that I spoke with our foreman and he already gave me the heads up that the next one on Berwin Road going toward Hadley, the paved section, is also failing, which is pretty obvious. You drive and with the wash and what you do in the pavement. The good news is it's such a big culvert, 48-inch or larger, that it qualifies for, which means it will be more expensive, but it qualifies for bridge funds, which means that we'll only have to pay for half in our future. Questions on the Urban Road? And I dropped off this at the GLTA office, and you did, along with the invitation from Wayne at AEW, so. I knew you were gonna be gone that day, but. What's board's pleasure?
I make a motion to approve the road project for Merlin Road. Or is it Washburn Cross Street?
This is Urban Road.
It says Washburn Cross Street. I thought it was Merlin Road. Then down here too, it says Washburn Cross Street. All of a sudden I looked down, I'm like,
Paragraph 1 says Merwin Road.
right.
Paragraph 2 says Washburn Road.
Right.
Road Commission is getting really for it. Cut and paste.
So we'll take that out. Put Merlin.
Yeah, they should be. Do we have motion? Do we have support?
I'll support with the assumption to make the changes in paragraph 2.
I think can replace 2 of them, you know, with that contract. That would be great, but
Exactly.
not so much. All right, motion been made and supported. It's a contract, so it's a roll call vote.
Gualdoni,
Yes.
Bales,
Yes.
Boskee,
Yes.
Fountain, yes, Dreier,
Yes.
Motion is carried. Next is the Lake Lapeer fireworks permit application and contribution. You have in your packet, as we normally do every year, the firework permit application for Lake Lapeer fireworks. It does include the dates. It does include the certificate of liability insurance with Elba Township and additional insured as is required. Anybody have any questions concerning that one?
I'll make a motion that we approve the Lake Lapeer fireworks permit display. Do you want to have 2 motions for the application?
Just do it, it's on the agenda
I
as
see
a permit
that.
and,
But I just wanted to,
yeah.
with the $500 donation.
I'll second.
Motion been made and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next one is the Lake Nepsing fireworks. And again, you have the application, you have the rain, the normal date, the rain date, and you also have the certificate of liability insurance, again naming Elba Township amongst others, as additionally insured as needed.
I'll make a motion to approve the permit for the fireworks for Lake Nipissing and the $500 donation. But the only disappointment that they're on the same day?
They're on the same day. Correct.
Okay.
July
July
4th.
4th.
July 4th is the primary date, July 5th is the rain date. So the fire department, get to supply or have your own little private. However, you will get front row seats to two spectacular
Right.
shows.
You're gonna have to rush at 15 minutes apart too.
Right.
No, they divide and conquer.
We divide and conquer.
Yeah,
Send trucks to both places.
we have 2 stations. So. We have a motion, we have support.
Support.
Motion and support. All in favor of the motion signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Next, back at budget amendment.
Yeah, we public.
Oh, we got 2. I tried to go over here. My bad. Thank you for keeping me on the straight and narrow. Brings us down to public time. Anybody in the audience wish to bring anything before the board?
I can stand up there, and I can stand here.
You can stand there. Just state your name and address.
I'm Kennedy, I live on 132 South Elba, just, right down the road. I'm here on behalf of Senator Daly, I'm his district director. We just wanted to come, show that we're supporting the township. If anyone has any questions for the state or anything that's affecting you guys that you want us to bring up, just come over, let me know. I have a business card, so you can always call us, but yeah.
Very good. I appreciate it. Anybody else? Hearing and seeing no one, I will close public time. Now I will get down to the additional agenda items. That's a handout. All right. Budget amendment needed, reference the aforementioned conference. In order to cover the expenditures. I will say that this is the first time in several years that we've had 2 people attend. And just as an interesting fact, Goodland Township, I think, had 8 or 9 people there. I was really surprised with that. So because of that, when we do our budget, we budget basically for a person. And since we had more than one, we will need a budget amendment of $1,000 for the Township Board, education and travel, and taken from the fund balance.
Didn't we discuss this earlier? Like, in a previous meeting?
Yes, we want to do it then.
I thought we approved it.
Now that we discussed the
We're fine
AEW.
for the tuition to go to that, not for the extra
That's
expenses,
the beginning
hotel and costs.
right for the registration.
I make a motion we accept the budget amendment as presented for $1,000.
There's support.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and supported to do a budget amendment of $1,000 for Township Board, Education and Travel from our fund balance. It is a budget amendment, so it requires a roll call
Yes.
Gualdoni,
Yes.
Bales,
Yes.
Boskee,
Yes.
Fountain, yes.
The motion is carried. The next is
Chief said that it's EMS, right, Chief? Can order them in bulk?
Yeah,
$1,900 would be $1,500,
no, it's actually $3,000 down.
$3,009 is the list price for the,
down to the $1,500?
down to the 15.
I thought it was $500 off, okay.
No, it's actually $1,500, right? Budget for you.
Okay. The hall has one, they have two at the fire hall for their trucks, and we have one for the police car. So we would need a total of 4.
So it'll be $6,000 for the discount, otherwise it'll be $12,000.
So,
you want me to explain a little bit more?
sure.
We had AEDs on our rig, frontline rigs, we're required to by NFPA, we have to have them on there. And we have the one in the patrol car, which were all bought at the same time, and then you have the one here. Unfortunately, I think they're 13 years old, and the company has notified us in February that they're no longer going to be supporting them for parts and things. So it's something as simple as the pads, you won't be able to get. So I talked to Russ at Lapeer County EMS to see, number one, what they're using Zoll. We weren't, so if we had our AED hooked up to somebody, and then the ambulance got there, they'd have to take the pads off and put theirs on, because you couldn't go from one to the other. So I told him I really wanted to go with Zoll, that way we wouldn't have that problem. He contacted Zoll, talked to him, and he went with a discounted price, that if we got an order for $25 for the county of Lapeer, that they would give us this price of $1,500. They already have 20 on order. They're available to any county agency, GLT can buy them if they want to. They've ordered them for the health department and other places. 2 PDs have ordered them. So the great thing is the pads would be interchangeable then with Zoll, and we can get the pads from Zoll, or from Lapeer County EMS. And the really big thing is they use a standard battery. They use a camera battery, because the battery for the light packs are $1,200 a piece. So.
And that's the problem we're having now in the maintenance. What we have is the batteries. And you can see really quick that, a battery that has a life expectancy of that, we can buy a machine for darn near the entire thing. The reason that we have the light pass is the exact same scenario. We didn't randomly choose that. We chose that based on what the ambulances in our area were utilizing for the reasons that Chief Burke indicated. Now they've switched, so we're obsolete, and our batteries are difficult. You have to order them through and pay that that extra massive amount of money. And it's a requirement, for our NFPA or ISO rating, which gives us the rating that reduces our homeowners insurance drastically. And I do know that at least the law enforcement one has been used. Shortly after we got it, I was contacted by the sheriff's department because one of our deputies used it, and we had a newer one than the sheriff's department did. So I had to actually provide them with our CD so that the sheriff's sergeant could download the information for the report. So they know they've been used and ask for it back, because we have no reason to download the reports. God forbid somebody in one of our hall rentals, has a heart issue. We're not going to require a response report. It's going to be from John Q. Public, trying to save. And I will say, tying into the PMTA conference again, a lot of that conference last week was dedicated to our newly elected MTA president, who died unexpectedly. He had attended meetings and was healthy the very day that he attended a meeting and was fine. Went to a wedding reception. So it would be handy to have these, for the all rentals. So I think that it's money well spent.
Yeah, and be aware what Russ's plan is. He's going to order them all, delivered to Lapeer County EMS. They will pay the bill, and then Lapeer County EMS will bill the municipality.
And he said he's planning on doing that the week of the 11th. The 11th is our next board meeting.
Yeah, he wants to order them the second week of
or second week, the 11th. So because this would, everything in our packets one way or the other, I was doing one of those, okay, we can discuss it here, you know, and put it on, if I can get hold of Ross and say, don't order until after like 11 o'clock in the morning, before we can have court action, but it was at you tonight, so.
I feel this is important and we do not need, I don't believe, a budget amendment for this. So I would make a motion to buy all four of them. Or four, already that works. You'll take care of that, chief?
Yeah, two will be paid for by the fire department.
Right.
Yeah, I'll take care of it.
Did he say what the life expectancy for the new ones are?
They're
I mean,
projecting,
sometimes newer isn't always better.
they're projecting them to have a life expectancy of 10 to 15 years.
Okay, that's good.
The big thing is the batteries, that's significant. We have to replace them.
That's the
We have to replace them in our AEDs now about every 18 months, and they're $232 a piece right now, so you spend $500 in there to replace the battery.
Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by aye. Opposed? Motion is carried.
We'll notify us tomorrow.
Perfect. You know, I don't want to, let me just check, because we now have overlapping deputies. I'll just have to check and make sure the sheriff's department, the other, no matter which Elba Township deputy is working, if they're equipped with an AED. According to my hymns, corrections, we went through the agenda, so unless somebody has something else, declare the meeting adjourned. What's that?
This is why the post office is not making any money. Stamps are not, so you don't use stamps.
Yeah, he was
retired.
He's done in, December, and he might just only lost it, he said.
Isn't that crazy? That happens all the time, especially when stamps have a star and they not.
Yeah,
I've seen around. That's where we went to high school.
yeah, I'll try to do whatever.
Do you know, if you want to limit this
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm
I mean, now, but if you were for this, like,